Sanders said aloud. "This could be it." Winstead thumped his tail once, not understanding. The next morning, Ello opened her grandfather's door with her heart pounding. He hadn't responded to her light tapping, and she was terrified he had died in the night, and she would be the one to see it first. Of all the emotions that had been rampaging through her system like drunk rioters since she'd turned 13, the fear, the anxiety, the angst, the rage, this was the worst. This dread. The worst and the most common. She felt it about everything. School, her clothes, friends, everything. One of her teachers had told her that it was normal, when your hormones decided to attack the host organism, to be riding a roller coaster of emotions. As if it were a joyride. As if you could stop every so often for a hot dog and cotton candy. But that wasn't how it felt to Ello. If she were indeed trapped in some sort of demonic amusement park from the land of insanity, it wasn't a roller coaster. It was a merry-go-round. Around and around she went, always the same ride, always a different horse. Ello was carrying a tray with a cup of coffee, some perfectly fried eggs, toast, and a chicken sausage. This was what her grandpa Sander consumed every morning of his life, brought to him by Ello as if she were a servant in her own house. Only the breakfast meat changed on the whim of the kitchen. The sausage looked disgusting. She always felt phobic when she knocked and opened her grandfather's door. This particular morning, Grandpa Sanders sat slumped in his chair with sallow skin and thin hair that had not seen the discipline of a comb for some time. To Ello, Sanders' birch bark skin matched his hair, which matched his lips, which matched his teeth. She knew she was supposed to love him because he was her grandfather, but most of the time she could not. And now the dread was all-consuming because he wasn't moving. His eyes weren't completely shut either. Gross, as if he'd passed away before he could fully close his lids. Ello stood perfectly still, wondering if this was the morning she'd always known would come. She glanced over at Winstead. Winstead also wasn't moving, also didn't appear to be breathing. Maybe they were both dead. Maybe Ello was dead. Would that be so bad? If she were dead, she wouldn't have to go to school and face the impossible grinding pressure of 8th grade. She wouldn't have to endure the humiliation anymore. She could ascend to heaven with this platter of eggs as her offering and be escorted back to 6th grade, the last time she was truly happy, when all of her friends adored her and her boyfriend had bought her a Valentine's Day card with a chocolate heart before she broke up with him. She heard the thunder of her brothers hitting the hallway like Santa Claus falling off the roof. In mere moments, the twins would either blow by the open doorway or veer in to inflict their havoc on Grandpa. They always did this, always woke up simultaneously as if shocked awake by the same bolt of lightning. Their choice today was Sanders' bedroom. Garrett and Ewan, 3-year-old identical twins, somehow made running into the room sound like a collision. Grandpa reacted as if he'd been hit with a taser, all 4 of his limbs spasming as Garrett leapt into his lap. Winstead jerked in sympathetic detonation. Ello decided that the old man was not dead. "Which one are you?" Grandpa Sander inquired in a voice that did not sound as if he really cared about the answer. "That's Garrett," Ella reminded him, setting the meal on the serving table next to the recliner. "Kadoi, Kada, we won't."